Barnsley have suffered back-to-back heartbreaking seasons. In the 22-23 season, they lost the playoff final to rivals Sheffield Wednesday thanks to a 121st minute Josh Windass goal. Fast forward 12 months and the Reds would once again be in the playoffs, taking on Bolton Wanderers, and they ultimately lost in the playoff semi-final. And after 13 league games so far this season, the Reds sit 8th, 1 point outside of the playoffs. So I think Barnsley fans deserve a bit of a pick-me-up, so today we are jumping into FC25, we're taking charge of the Reds, and we are going to win them a Champions League trophy. So if you do enjoy the content, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel, as it does help me out. We're trying to get 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Let's now jump into FC25 and get this Barnsley rebuild on the way. So this is the Barnsley team we have loaded into in FC25, and if we're being brutally honest, on paper it looks like a bog standard run-of-the-mill League One side. However, before we progress any further with this rebuild, one thing's for certain: this formation is definitely getting changed. Now, Barnsley starts off without any wingers at all in their squad, so we're going to go with a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow formation, because I feel like this gets the best out of the current players we've got at the football club. And truth be told, it's a formation that we have never actually used before in FC25. And we've also added players into the starting 11 like Orkefe, Pines, Nawakale and Humphreys, which makes the team look a lot stronger on paper. Now, the best player at the club is Kelechi Nawakale, who's a 26-year-old 70 rated centre midfielder who is definitely one of the better players in League One. We've also got goalkeeper Gabriel Slonina, who is 20-year-old 68 rated and showing great potential, so he could actually be an end-game player for us. We've got the brilliant Luke O'Connell, who is 23-year-old 67 rated. I just wish he'd come back to Bolton. So we do definitely have some solid players at the club, and that really helps me out in season 1, because as you know, in these rebuilds we cannot sign anyone in season 1, so we are stuck with the players we've got till at least the start of season 2, and that's probably a good thing, as so many first team players are out of contract at the end of the season. That will take up a massive portion of our transfer budget, and Barnsley only start off with £2 million, so I don't think we would have been able to make any signings anyway. And the tactic we are going to use for this rebuild is the counter-attack tactic. I don't feel like the squad is good enough on paper for a custom tactic, and as always, if you would like to analyse the player roles further, feel free to pause the video. Now, in recent videos I've been asking you guys, where should I send my youth scouts, and today we are going to go with Michael Aroon's comment. We are going to be sending our scouts to Lebanon, and I'm really sorry if I've mispronounced your name there, and hopefully we can uncover some serious talent while we're scouting in Lebanon. So we have analysed the squad, we've picked a tactic, picked a starting 11. Our youth scouts are now off in Lebanon looking for future stars. Don't really think there's much more we can do, boys, but simulate forward straight through to the end of season 1. And with the squad we have currently got, I'm expecting to get at least in or around the playoffs. So we've arrived at the end of season number 1, and as we know, Barnsley notoriously struggle in the playoffs. So it's a very good job that we do not need them this season, as we have finished second in League One, gaining promotion to the Championship, 1 point behind league winners Birmingham City, and in season 2 Barnsley are in the Championship. So we're not going to bother checking the cup competitions, as we've gone out in the first round in all of them. However, this is how the team is looking heading into the Championship. We have now got 4 players well over 70 rated. Phillips and Gent are very close to 70 rated as well. The team is looking much better on paper. However, heading into season number 2, we definitely need to bring a new striker to the club, as our best current striker is Stephen Humphreys at 68 rated. And if we have any money remaining after this, I would like to bring a centre back to the club, as I don't think Josh Earl is good enough to perform at the Championship level, but it is all completely budget dependent, boys. Now, in terms of stats, Davis Keeler-Dunn was by far our best player, getting 37 goals and 12 assists. That is an absolutely insane return. Stephen Humphreys had a very good season as well, scoring 31 times and assisting 11 times. But then after that, boys, not many contributions from the most of our players. Now, we did send our scouts to Lebanon, and the best 3 players we found were Sabah Saleh, Khalifa Rostam and Baraka El Youssef. 3 pretty decent players. The best of the bunch is definitely Sabah Saleh. When he's 16, we'll promote him to the senior team and get him out on loan. So season 1 was a massive success. We are now in the Championship. Let's get into season 2 and start getting our squad ready for Championship life. So we've arrived in season 2 and we've got £10 million to spend, and this is a pretty healthy budget. So after signing a striker striker and a centre-back. I may look to bring in the new right-back as well to replace Kefe. So boys, the first signing of the Barnsley career mode has taken place, and it is a striker I have wanted to use for quite some time in FC25. We have gone out and brought Jadon Dans to Oakwell from Liverpool. He's 19 years old, 67 rated, showing great potential, does have pretty decent stats, and we have just got him for just 1.5 million euros, 600 grand below his market value, and hopefully be an endgame striker for us in this rebuild. Now unfortunately that leaves us with just £6 million in the bank, but we have transfer listed quite a few players. I'm hoping to get quite a bit of budget back, and then we're going to go out and bring a centre back and right back to the football club. So we have shipped out a lot of deadwood in this transfer window. Jack Shepherd is the first out the door. He has left for 500 grand. Conor Horahan has headed over to Turkey for 250 grand. Kyron Lofthouse has also left the club for 380 grand. Andy Dallas leaves us for 480 grand. Ben Killip has dropped a division to Stevenage for 350 grand. Aidan Marsh has left the club for 320 grand. And we have loaned out two youngsters. Vimal Yogonathan has left the club on a 2-year loan, and Fabio Jallo has left the club on a 2-year loan to Seattle Sounders. So we have managed to recuperate some cash, and we've got 9 million in the bank to bring in a right back and centre back. So we have gone out into the transfer market, and we have managed to bring a right back and centre back to the football club, and I really think we've done some outstanding business here. Kicking things off, we have brought Pedro Lima to the club from Wolves. We paid 4.5 million for him, so we have slightly overpaid. He's 19 years old, he's 70 rated, he's got decent stats, showing great potential. I do think this will be a very, very good signing in the long run. And we have made an excellent loan signing, bringing Samson Beidou to the club from Aston Villa on a 1-season loan with an optional future fee of 2.6 million. Beidou is a fantastic centre-back. He's instantly going into the starting 11. And I think we've done some very solid business in this transfer window. And we are left with £3 million in the bank, but we do have quite a few contracts to renew. I also want to bring some more coaches in, and I want to send my youth scouts back out to Lebanon. So I don't think there'll be any more signings in season number 2, and that means this will be the Barnsley team to take us into season number 2. We've definitely improved the squad. The back line's looking a lot stronger. Dans will grow this season and hopefully reach 70 rated, and I definitely think we've got more than enough to not get relegated this season. We have some decent options on the bench as well, not perfect, but definitely some players there who can fill in. So now our transfer window is officially over. The only deals that may now take place is me loaning out younger players. We are now going to simulate forward straight through to the end of season number 2, and as long as we avoid relegation, I am happy. So we have arrived at the end of season number 2, boys, and we had an outstanding season, finishing in the playoffs in 5th position on 79 points, and that will mean we are going to take on Everton for a chance to be promoted to the Premier League, and we could genuinely get back-to-back promotions with Barnsley. Yeah, forget about that. We were beaten by Everton 3-1 over 2 legs. Couldn't break Barnsley's playoff curse, and Ipswich Town would go on to beat Everton in the final, and that means in season 3 we are back playing championship football. And in the FA Cup we got all the way to the quarterfinals, where League 2 Rotherham beat us 2-1. We had such a good chance to get to the semi-finals, but we bottled it against League 2 opposition. So this is the Barnsley team that very nearly took us to the Premier League. Sloan in goal is 80 rated. He is outstanding. We've got some really good players in our team like Lima, Baidu, Connell, Nawakale and Gent, but that team is definitely not good enough to survive in the Premier League. That is factual. We would have got about 50 million to improve the squad, and I think we would have really struggled. Going into season number 3, we have to bring in my opinion, a central midfielder to replace Phillips, maybe a centre attacking midfielder to replace Keeler Dunn, and if we have enough money I would like to bring in a striker as well, so we could be very active in the loan market next season. In terms of stats, Stephen Humphries was absolutely brilliant this season, getting 23 goals and 3 assists, but at 28-year-old and 71 rated, we are maybe going to look to replace him. So season 2 for me was actually a very, very good season. We're now going to get into season 3 and hopefully bring the right firepower through the door that gets us automatic promotion. So we've arrived in season number 3 and we have got £11 million in the bank. Now I completely forgot, but Samson Beidou only signed a 1-year loan, meaning we are now going to have to activate his transfer clause. He's 75 rated, 22-year-old, and we are going to buy him for just 2.6 million, which is an excellent deal and another reason why you have to get on the loan to buys. And that is Beidou through the door. What a deal this is, but he is taking home £40 40 grand a week, which has massively shafted our transfer budget. As after the signing of Beidou permanently, we've only got 7 million left in the bank. And you may remember me saying we have to bring in a midfielder to replace Adam Phillips. That's because he handed in a transfer request. He would not accept a new deal, and we are actually going to lose him on a free, which I'm really gutted about. And we also have so many contracts to renew this season. Literally half of the squad are out of contract. So yeah, this is going to be a pretty rough transfer window in my opinion. And after renewing all the relevant contracts, we've now only got 5 million in the bank, so we're going to have to make some player sales. So we have completed our first loan signing of season number 3, bringing Michael Golding to the club on a 1-season loan. He's 20-year-old, 69 rated. He's not as good as Phillips right now, but by the end of the season, I expect him to be at least 72. 73 rated. At the end of his loan, we can make the deal permanent for £3.5 million, but I'm confident that by the time his loan's up, he'll definitely be worth well more than 3.5 million. Now, we have once again had a very busy transfer window in terms of outgoings. Kicking things off, Stephen Humphries has left the club. Birmingham came in with a £2.5 million bid, which we had to accept. Corey O'Keefe has also left the club for 1.1 million. Sam Cosgrove has left the club for 520 grand. Conor McCarthy is out the door for 540 grand. Casper Laporta is also at the club for 560 grand. And we have loaned out Theo Chapman to Racing Club for the season. This means we now have 10 million in the bank to bring in a striker and central attacking midfielder. And the striker we want to bring to the football club is Coventry City forward Norman Bassetti. He's 72 rated, 21-year-old, left-footed and pretty decent stats. And his price tag is not too bad, anywhere between 2.5 and 4.2 million. Hopefully we can pay around his market value for him, and I feel like he would be a very good signing. And Norman Bassetti joins the club for exactly his market value, 3.2 million. I think this is a very good deal. And we now have 6 million in the bank to bring in a central attacking midfielder. And the attacking midfielder that we are after is Luke Harris of Fulham. He's 21 years old, 72 rated. Love the look of his stats, but this could be a very pricey deal. Fulham could want anywhere between 3.3 and 5.5 million. I just hope we've got the finances to make this deal happen. Yeah, I have no idea what happened there. Fulham were after 9 million for Luke Harris. Nowhere we compare that, and it's back to the drawing board for another attacking midfielder. So gutted to miss out on Luke Harris, but Alfie Devine would definitely tick all the right boxes. He's 21-year-old, 71 rated, really nice stats, and he is much more affordable, as Tottenham are going to ask for anywhere between 2.2 and 3.7 million. Hopefully they don't do what Fulham have just done and ask for a completely unrealistic number. And we have managed to sign Alfie Devine for £3 million, and we are now left with just £1 million in the bank, so our transfer window is absolutely finished. And after the signings of Bassetti, Golden and Devine, this is how the team is looking going into season number 3. While we don't look stronger in terms of overall just yet, we've signed 3 very young players who've got much higher ceilings than the players we've replaced, and I do think this squad has got a lot of potential to have a really good season in terms of not only development, trying to get into the automatic promotion places. I know our transfer window is done. I don't think there's anything left to do but simulate forward straight through to the end of season 3, and let's get Barnsley to the Premier League. So we have arrived at the end of season number 3, boys, and we have only gone and won the championship. We won 32 of our 46 games. We only lost 4 times all season, accumulating 106 points. So close to breaking Reading's record points tally in the championship. After an absolutely amazing season in season 4, we are in the Premier League. And we once again had an amazing FA Cup run, getting all the way to the semi-finals, where we unfortunately lost to Brighton, but that is still an amazing run. So this is the Barnsley team that has pulled off an absolutely insane Premier League season. We have got a team full of Premier League standard players. I don't think survival next season will be much of an issue, as this squad is looking really decent. However, going into season number 4 to get us Premier League ready, I do think we need to bring in a better centre-back than Pines. I'd also like to bring in a better central midfielder than Nawakala. We have to make Golding's loan deal into a permanent one for 3 million. And if we have any leftover money, I may look to bring in a left-back to replace Gent. And dependent on our budget, we may even look to bring in some backup players, because our bench absolutely stinks. And in terms of stats, what a signing Norman Bassetti turned out to be. 36 goals and 5 assists in 52 games. That's ridiculous. But I want to talk about Michael Golding. What a season this man had. 23 goals and 18 assists from the central midfield, and we can make him permanent for 3.5 million in season number 4. So I'm absolutely delighted with our performance in season 3. We are now a Premier League side, and let's start bringing some real quality players through the door. So we have arrived in season number 4. We are in the Premier League, but we've only got £48 million to bring some players in. After making Golding's deal permanent, we'll probably have around £40 million to sign a centre-back and a centre midfielder. We have got to nail these signings. And this is yet another reason why you have to get on the 2-year loans. Michael Golding is 21-year-old, 77 rated, worth £18 million. And we are about to buy him for £3.5 million. What a steal this is. And Golding is now at the club on a 5-year deal. What a signing. And just like I predicted, after signing Golding, we've got £40 million to bring in a centre-back and central midfielder. So as we know in this transfer window, it is absolutely vital that we bring a better centre-back to the football club. And we have identified Alessandro Ciasatti of Valencia to bolster our back line. He's 23-year-old, 78 rated, 6'3", decent stats. And he's actually very affordable, boys. We're going to be paying anywhere between 15.7 and 21 million, which I think is a pretty good deal. And we are going to bring him to Walkwell this summer. And we have completed the signing of Ciasatti for £19 million. And this is a very solid pickup. And this leaves us with £20 million to bring in the new central midfielder. So after having a really thorough search of the transfer market, we have managed to bring a central midfielder to Barnsley, whose contract was expiring, and we got him for a very good price, and that is Maximo Perrone, who was playing for Manchester City. Brought him to Walkwell for £17.5 million. He's 24-year-old, 79 rated, has got very decent stats, and at 79 rated, he is instantly our highest rated central midfielder. However, that has decimated our transfer budget, as we've only got 167k left in the bank. And there has also been some player sales in this transfer window, which I will run you through. Josh Benson has left the club for 1.1 million. Josh Earl has left the club. He's gone to Coventry for 1.1 million. And we have also sold John Russell to Basel for 1.4 million. So that now leaves us with 6 million in the bank, but we do have a few player contracts to renew. I want to bring some new coaches in. I think that's going to be the end of our business for season 4. And that means this will be the Barnsley team to take us into season 4 and our first in the Premier League. I do think we've got a pretty decent starting 11 on paper. We've already got quite a few players who are 80 rated, with a few at 79. Hopefully by the end of the season, most of the squad has grown into the 80s. We're still in the Premier League, and we can just focus on pushing up the league table. My only concern heading into season number 4 is that our bench is not looking strong at all, but we just do not have the finances to invest money into this area of the squad. So now that our transfer window's done, I don't think there's anything left we can do but simulate forward straight through to the end of season 4. Hopefully we stay up in the Premier League, which I'm pretty sure we will do. So let's find out if we do. So we've arrived at the end of season number 4, boys, and we finished 11th in the Premier League, which I'm really impressed with, on 48 points. We had a very, very decent season considering it was our first ever in the Premier League, and in season 5 we will once again be playing Premier League football. However, in the FA Cup, for the first time in a long time, we went out in an early round as we lost in the 4th round to Newcastle 2-1. So this is how the squad is looking at the end of season number 4. Very, very strong team on paper. Some real standout players in that team. Slow Nina, Lima, Perrone, Divine and Golding, by far our best players. Team looking really, really strong on the whole. But going into season number 5, we do need to keep on improving this team. I want to bring in a new left back to replace Gent, as he has just completely stopped growing. I wouldn't mind bringing in a central defensive midfielder to replace Connell, as well, as he is another player who is really at his peak potential. But however, I think we're only going to get about £45 million to spend, so we're probably going to have to sell one of Gent or Connell in order to be able to buy 2 players next season. And in terms of stats, Norman Bassetti was our best player once again, getting 32 goals and 5 assists, which is insane. Jaden Dan's had a decent season, getting 16 and 5, but after that, not many goals at all throughout the rest of the squad. So really, really happy with how season 4 turned out. Let's get into season 5 and just keep on progressing. So we've arrived in season 5 and our transfer budget is bitterly disappointing. We have only got 33 million in the bank, meaning it's going to be a big struggle to bring a left back and CDM in this window, unless we sell one of Gent or Connell and bring some decent funds back in. So admittedly, our transfer funds are going to hold us back a bit this season, but I have managed to find a decent left back who I want to bring to the club. Kasum Outara of Bournemouth is 23 years old and 79 rated. He's got really, really nice stats. Only 23, so still plenty of room to grow, and he does have decent potential in FC25. Does fall into our price category. 17.2 to 23 million will be the asking price. I'm going to try and get him for around his market value of 19 million, and hopefully then that leaves us with enough money to bring a CDM through the door as well. And we have secured the signing of Outara for 19.5 million, which I'm pretty happy about, leaving us with 18 million in the bank. And if I'm honest, boys, I think if we want to bring in a better CDM than Connell, we're going to have to sell him. Barnsley. And boys, we have had some excellent news. We have won our pre-season tournament, adding 2.6 million to our bank account, which is massively helpful. And there has been quite a few outgoings in this transfer window, mainly because players were in the last year of their contract and would not accept new deals as they wanted to leave. Donovan Pines left the club. He went for £3 million. Theo Chapman left the club for 500 grand. Max Waters left the club for £1 million. Kelechi Nawakali left the club for 6.5 million. And finally, Luca Connell has left the club. He has joined Wolves for 14 million. And now we need to get to work bringing in a solid replacement, as we now have £33 million in the bank to bring in a suitable replacement for Connell. And we could potentially be on for an absolute steal here, boys, as we have just seen that Johnny Cardoso's contract is expiring in 11 months' time. He's 26 years old, he's 83 rated, he's got fantastic stats, and we can get him for anywhere from 22 to 30 million pounds, which would be an absolute steal, and we are definitely going to bring this man to Walkwell. And we have signed Cardoso for just 26.5 million. What a deal we have just got. And after the signing of Cardoso, we are left with just £3 million in the bank, meaning our window is definitely short. And after the signings of Cardoso and Otara, this will be the Barnsley team that takes us into season 5. We've got such a solid team on paper. I'm really hoping we can get into the top half of this season, because that team is very, very strong. Only 2 players in the starting 11 who are under 80 rated, which is some achievement going into season 5. Now we've got absolutely no money left in the bank. We've sent our youth scouts out back to Lebanon. We've brought some new coaches in as well. I don't think there's much more we can really do but simulate forward straight through to the end of season 5, and I'm really, really hopeful for a top half finish. We've arrived at the end of season number 5, and after a brilliant performance in the Premier League, we will be playing Champions League football in season number 6, as we have clinched 3rd place in the Premier League on 80 points. We only lost 4 games all season, which is absolutely insane. And in season 6, Barnsley are playing Champions League football. Performances in the FA Cup though since we came to the Premier League have really dropped off. We only made the 5th round this year and Arsenal beat us 3-1. So this is how the starting 11 is looking at the end of season number 5, and I have to say that is an absolutely excellent team on paper. Every single player in that starting 11 is now above 80 rated. We've got some world-class players in our team like Slow Nina, Lima and Divine. We are really, really looking good heading into season number 6. Where do we improve the team? Well, I'm really disappointed with Otara's growth, if I'm honest. He's only grown by 1 overall and he's still 120 weeks away from reaching 81 rated. So I'm probably going to go back in for a left back, as Otara is just not Champions League standard, and we'll keep him around as a backup left back. A little voice in the back of my head is telling me to replace Bassetti, which I really don't want to do. However, I do think if we could bring in like an 84, 85 rated striker and have Bassetti coming off the bench, that would make us 1, very dangerous, and 2, it would give us a better chance of being more competitive in the Champions League, but that is completely dependent on the transfer budget. Now in terms of stats, Norman Bassetti was actually our best player, getting 28 goals and 4 assists. He's 82 rated, he is still 24-year-old. I may give him 1 more season as a first choice striker, I'm not too sure. So some really big decisions to make in season number 6. Let's get there right now and get Barnsley ready for the Champions League. So we've arrived in season number 6 and we have got 98 million to improve our team. Now do you know what, boys? I am going to do something that I never normally do, and that is sign a regen. We have just found Dorde Juric, who is playing for PSG. He's 20-year-old, 84 rated, his stats are insane, and he actually falls into our price range, anywhere from 61 to 81 million pounds to bring him in. This will probably mean that we don't bring in a first choice striker in this window, but we can definitely bring in a backup one. And Dorde Juric has joined the club for 68 million pounds, and that is the first time we have signed a regen for cash in so long. If any of you can remember when it were, I'll be really impressed. And that leaves us with 26 million pounds in the bank, which we are going to use to bring in a backup striker. And before we sign a backup striker, a few players have left the club. We have sold Barry Cotter to Preston North End for £1 million. Matty Wolf will now play his football in Turkey, as he's left the club for 790 grand. We have actually sold one of our Lebanese youngsters, Sabah Saleh, to Levante for 2.2 million, because we have promoted 2 players who have got high potential, and one of them has just gone out on loan 2 seasons. That is Jibril Al-Sharani. He will spend the next 2 seasons gaining first team experience. And now we have scoured the transfer market to try and find a decent backup striker who won't break the bank, and we have found the man. William Osula of Newcastle United is 25-year-old, 78 rated, looks a decent player on paper. We're only going to have to pay anywhere from 10 to 13 million for him, and for a backup striker, that is an excellent deal. And we have brought William Osula to the club for 11.6 million, and for a backup striker, that is an excellent deal. And that does leave us with £8 million in the bank, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say our transfer window in terms of incomings is finished. I know that our transfer window is finished. This will be the Barnsley team to take us into season 6, and that team is now starting to look very, very strong on paper. I'm really excited to see how we get on in the Champions League. Speaking of the Champions League, with our transfer window finished, all that's left to do now is check our first ever set of Champions League fixtures. So our Champions League fixtures are now in, and very interestingly, we will kick things off with an away tie for the team who we rebuilt last week, Braga. Hopefully we can get a win against them. We will then travel to PSV, which is a very winnable game. Play at home to Napoli, which is a very interesting tie. At home to PSG, which I'm not expecting much from. Bayern Munich away, again a very difficult tie. Ajax away, again these ties are not easy. Red Bull Salzburg at home, we should be winning that. Then we will finish off with a home tie against Real Sociedad, which again I think we should be winning that as well. I'm really hopeful that we can have a good season in the Premier League and the Champions League, so let's find out if we do by simulating forward straight through to the end of season 6. So we've arrived at the end of season number 6, well at least I think it's season number 6. I always seem to lose count of what season it is, and we have finished third again in the Premier League on 73 points. We had another really solid season. Didn't perform as well as we did in season number 5. In season number 7 we will be playing Champions League football again, and that's all that matters. We once again only got to the 5th round of the FA Cup, and Newcastle United, who finished 2nd in the Premier League, knocked us out 3-2. In the Champions League we made it through the league phase and qualified for the round of 16, where unfortunately we got absolutely battered 6-1 over 2 legs by PSG, just showing there is still a lot of work to do with this squad. So this is how the team is looking at the end of season number 6, and Alfie Devine has become the first 90+ rated player at the football club, and Lima and Slonina and Jadon Dans are all not far behind. But heading into season number 7, we definitely need to bring in a world-class centre-back to replace Beidou, in my opinion, to really elevate the level of our back line. And I am going to look to invest some money into our bench as well by bringing in a backup centre attacking midfielder and central midfielder, but that is budget dependent. Now in terms of stats, Norman Bassette was once again our best player, going to 85 rated and scoring 33 goals along the way, and that just goes to show that sometimes you do just need to show a little bit of faith in a player and they will pay you back. So season 6 was a success, boys. We had a decent run in the Champions League. We've once again qualified for the Champions League. Let's get into season 7 and now start working towards winning some trophies. So we have arrived in season number 7 and we have got 116 million to spend. Feel we can definitely bring a world-class centre-back to the football club, but we may only be able to bring in one backup player. So we have been scouting for a new centre-back for absolutely ages, and I have to admit at this stage of the rebuild, the centre-back market really isn't that good. However, we have identified Jared Bramthwaite of Napoli as our primary target. 86 rated, 28-year-old, he has got decent stats and a 5-star weak foot. It's going to be a pricey deal, boys, as Napoli are going to want anywhere from 53 to 71 million, but that should leave us with some money to bring in a backup centre midfielder. And Jared Bramthwaite is now a Barnsley player for 60 million, and that leaves us with 39 million in the bank to bring in a backup central midfielder. And the backup central midfielder we have identified to bring to Barnsley is Andy Diouf, currently playing for RC Lens. He is 82 rated, 27-year-old. His stats are really nice, every single stat above 75 rated, and he's very affordable, boys. We're going to be paying anywhere from 24 to 33 million, which fits right into our price range. And Andy Diouf is in, boys, for 28 million, which is a fantastic deal, leaving us with 8 million in the bank. And you know what, boys, I'm pretty content with the business we have done. That is our window definitely finished, and also there will be no players leaving the club at all in this window. And with our transfer window coming to a close, this will be the Barnsley team to take us into season number 7. The starting 11 is looking very strong. I'm really hoping we can progress, maybe challenge for the Premier League title, maybe win an FA Cup. So kicking off our Champions League campaign, we are travelling away to Marseille, which is a pretty difficult opening fixture, but I'm hopeful we can get a result. We will then take on Freiburg at home, which we should be winning, followed by Ferencvaros away. 2 games we should definitely be getting 6 points from. We will then take on Ajax at home, which is another very winnable tie. Sparta Prague away, which is another game we should probably be winning. We have then got Bayer Leverkusen away, which is our first really difficult fixture. Bayern Munich at home, yep, now it's getting a bit more interesting. And we will finish off our league phase with a home tie to Sevilla. Do you know what? Them fixtures have been extremely kind to us, and if we do not get through the league phase, it'll be a massive disappointment. Let's simulate forward straight through to the end of season 7 and see how we got on. not. So we have arrived at the end of season number 7, and boys, we have finally done it. We have won the Premier League, finishing on 82 points, only losing 4 games all season, scoring a whopping 84 goals, and the Premier League trophy is coming to Oakwell. And in the FA Cup, we got to the quarterfinals, but we missed a golden chance to win the FA Cup as we were knocked out by Stoke City, with the likes of Bolton, Southampton, Millwall and Portsmouth all still in the competition. But forget about the FA Cup, we will have a chance to win the Champions League, as we have actually reached the final and we're taking on Borussia Dortmund. In the league phase, we finished 12th, meaning we had to settle for a playoff. Our playoff leg was very, very interesting. We beat Lyon 6-2 in the second leg, securing a 7-4 aggregate win. In the round of 16, we would then take on PSG, and we would get our own back for last season as we narrowly knocked them out 4-3 over 2 legs. And we would then go on to take on Bayern Munich, and after a very tight affair, we squoze through 6-4 over 2 legs. However, in the semi-finals, we battered Napoli 5-2 over 2 legs to secure a Champions League final against Borussia Dortmund. And when I saw that we were in the Champions League final, I was a little bit surprised until I saw our team. This is the team that has got us to a Champions League final. We've got 490 rated players, 289 rated players, 288 rated players. Very, very strong bench as well, with multiple players over 80 rated. I really ain't surprised to see that this team has got us to a Champions League final. So in terms of stats, Jadon Danns was an absolute joke this season. He scored 47 goals and got 6 assists. That is pretty insane. It's take on Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League final. Here we go, boys. It is Champions League final time. We are taking on Borussia Dortmund at Old Trafford. Let's get this Champions League trophy brought to Oakwell. Lewis Guilherme, a player I've really wanted to use for quite some time, has a dig. And it's an easy save for Slow Nino, however you pronounce his name, and we've given the ball away straight from kickoff. Oh shit, I'm not even paying attention. Santos. Oh no, it could be 1-0. What a chance for Dortmund. Lewis Guilherme. Oh my god, he had to score. Nice. Oh, Cardoso's got a bit of space. Have a dig. And it's straight at Cabell. That's our first chance of the game. Both sides having shot some distance earlier in this game. Bassette's in. Oh, what a pass. Bassette. It's 1-0 to Barnsley in the Champions League final. A defence splitting pass from Perrone and a finish to match from Bassette. What a ball that is. One touch, strike, finish, 1-0 to us. You know, Dortmund will be ruining Lewis Guilherme, who missed that absolute golden chance. And that is half time, boys. Do you know what? We rode out a bit of an early storm from Dortmund. We have rode our luck a little bit in this half, but we're 1-0 up, 1 half away from Champions League glory. Good tackle by Pedro. Oh no, oh no. Straight at Slow Nino. That's terrible. What was Pedro Nino doing? We haven't really had much of the ball in this second half. I can't lie, boys. It's been all Dortmund, if I'm honest. Get the foot in. Oh, what a save by Slow Nino. I don't have a clue how Branthwaite's tackle didn't win that ball back. Wow, that was a big moment. 85 minutes on the clock. Jadon Danns from distance. Let's have a dig. Oh, what a save by Cabell. That were nestling into the top corner. But that could be the game, boys. 90 on the clock. 1 minute of added time. They've given the ball away. It's played up to Bassette. What a turn. And that is game over, boys. What a finish from Norman Bassette. And Barnsley have wrapped up the Champions League trophy. A massive mistake at the back from Dortmund. And that has put this tie to bed. And we now just have to wait for the referee's whistle to go. It goes straight from kickoff. And Barnsley are the champions of Europe. And lads, we are lifting no trophy. The game has glitched. There's not even a trophy though that we're lifting, and that has really messed up my intro to this video. So I just want to say a massive thank you for watching today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, as we're trying to get 5,000 subs by the end of the year. I will see you next Friday.